Houston, back-to-back losses by just one run, and one thing that Lloyd McClendon said earlier today that really stood out, he said, I've got some professional hitters inside of my clubhouse, but I have to get better at bats from those guys.
Well, I think especially with runners in scoring position, the club hitting just .212 with runners in scoring position, and maybe even more importantly, runners on third and less than 2 outs. Last few nights they've done a poor job trying to get those runners home. If you really look at the road trip, 3-2 on the road trip, Aaron, they haven't scored runs, even the games in Texas. What we're finding out is Houston has a pretty good pitching staff and bullpen.
No, you're right. The Mariners scoring 3 runs per game so far on this road trip. But one guy that we have seen some awfully good bats from all season long is Nelson Cruz. And last night, 10-game road trip, and Mike will have a chance tonight to see Taijuan Walker once again. And this is a very familiar opponent for Taijuan Walker, who makes his 13th Major League start. That's it tonight, and it is his 6th already against the Houston Astros.
Very familiar.
Glad to have you with us, as always, for Mariners baseball on Root Sports from downtown Houston, Texas. It's Game 3 of this 4-game series against the Houston Astros. Mariners looking for their first win in the series, and they have to face a tough right-hander in Colin McHugh, who comes home with the first pitch for a strike. Facing Austin Jackson to begin things. And Mike, early on tonight, some shadows.
Yeah, that's the bad news for the hitters early in this game. The good news probably will only last for a couple of innings, and then the shadows will cover the field. But right now, a little bit tough for the hitters to see.
Ball and a strike to Jackson. We've seen Seth Smith lead off each of the last 2 nights, but Smith batting second in this one this evening as Jackson loops it to right field. And there is out number 1. Mike, happy to look at tonight's Mariners lineup.
Mariners lineup brought to you by Chevron. As you saw, Jackson leading things off. Then it will be Seth Smith, the DH today. Cano, Cruz, and Seager in the middle of the lineup. Cruz back out in right field. You see his production home run-wise against the Astros. And it's Weeks getting the start in left field. He will hit 6. Morrison, Zunino, and Miller round out the 9 for the Mariners this evening. For Colin McHugh, a 2.92 ERA, 3-0 record so far. In 24 2/3, 23 strikeouts, only 4 walks. He will be around the strike zone.
McHugh has really revitalized his career from his days with the Mets and the Rockies. Was picked up by the Astros, and they have really changed what he does up on the mound. He really used to be a sinker ball pitcher, and if you look at his numbers before that breakout start that he had last season at Safeco Field, he had an earned run average around 8 and only about 10 major league starts, but he has become a four-seam fastball pitcher with a big curveball as well, and it has made him one of the best in the American League since about midway through last year. Now number 2.
Take a look at the rest of the defense for the Astros. Brought to you by American Family Insurance. Barisnik will be in center field. Valbuena and VR on the left side of the infield. Altuve already having a great series. He is at second base. Gonzalez getting the start at first. And Hank Conger gets his first start of the series. He will do the catching.
I like how you said Altuve there, Mike. There's a little, almost a little frustration.
I would say a little bit. Yeah.
He's been remarkable, as he seems to always be against the Mariners and most other teams too. This pitch on the way to Cano outside.
I don't know that there's anybody hotter in baseball right now than he is.
Can't be. 10-game hitting streak, 9 straight games with multiple hits, tying a franchise record. Have a chance to extend that tonight. Cano on the second pitch, and an easy pop-up. This has been a quick and tidy top of the first. 7 pitches for Colin McHugh. Mariners sat down in order. We go to the bottom of the first. Astros coming up. Taijuan Walker, 22 years old, out of Yucaipa, California, making his 13th major league start. It is his 6th against the Houston Astros. And Mike, Taijuan Walker saw him not only 2 starts ago, and this is the lineup that he'll have to face tonight.
And he's familiar with it. Already had 1 outing against the Astros this year, but it'll be Jose Altuve at the top. Then it's Valbuena, Springer. The DH Gaddis will be the cleanup hitter. See, he accounts for 4 of the 7 team RBIs in this series. Want to keep him in the ballpark. Rasmus Gonzalez, Barisnik, Conger, and VR rounding out the 9 for the Astros. For Taijuan on the year, things have gotten a lot better. Over his last 12 1/3, just 1 earned run for him. 19 strikeouts, 11 walks. Want to stay away from the walks. And we'll take a look at the defense for the Mariners. Ricky Weeks getting the start in left field. Brad Miller and Kyle Seager on the left side. Cano and Morrison on the right side of the infield. Mike Zunino had last night off. He will do the catching this evening.
Facing Altuve right out of the gates. Strike 1. And it is Altuve bobblehead night here at the ballpark for his 10,000 fans, taking home this bobblehead of, well, the best hitter in baseball so far. Miller to first base, or at least the hottest hitter, if nothing else. But he's out quickly on 2 pitches. That brings in Valbuena. 1 up, 1 down for Taijuan Walker. A nice start. And Mike, one thing we saw in his last start, his fastball velocity wasn't through the roof like it can be, 97, 98. It was more 94, 95. He said he was disappointed in that. Mike Zunino took the other angle of it and said, well, if you're commanding it at 94, 95, Zunino said, I'll take that.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that's you and I had a chuckle after that start because I was raving about his fastball, and it wasn't about his velocity. It was his location of it, using it inside off the plate, hitting both corners. So I spoke to him yesterday, and I asked him what the game plan was, and he said that he wasn't going to get away from what he did last time out, which is throw his fastball early in the game, move guys around a little bit, eventually get to a good changeup and curveball that he has. Probably use his cutter a little bit more today.
The other thing that we saw from him in his last start that was so impressive, 7 innings, near a career high, and 92 pitches. Very economical.
Yes, very efficient with his pitches. Well, that was one of the things when we saw him in spring training this year that I was really excited about with him. Is you talk about the fastball, as you mentioned, at times it'll reach 97 miles an hour, and his curveball, he has a really good curveball. His changeup is an improved pitch. But the fact that he was getting a lot of ground ball outs in spring training, and I thought that goes to what you were talking about with his pitch count and being able to pitch deeper into games.
2-2.
He's only 22 years old, and so you know the organization is going to be somewhat careful with him, but he still has the ability to pitch deep into games. If he's keeping the ball on the ground and working ahead in counts, he'll be in great shape.
George Springer on deck. He homered last night. That was a pivotal home run. Count stays full to Valbuena. Now Walker really, as Mike mentioned, pitching much better as of late. His last 2 starts, the first of which were against these Astros. He has more strikeouts than innings pitched and only 1 earned run. And he gets his first strikeout tonight. 94-mile-an-hour fastball.
We'll take a look at Taiwan. And his pitch usage, you would guess, about 60% fastballs. His changeup at 18%, cutter at 15%, curveball at 6%. I think as the season moves on, that percentage for his curveball will go up a little bit, get closer to 9-10% in that area. I think it's a really good pitch for him to throw, especially to the right-handed hitters. You can certainly use it on the outer half of the plate to the lefties, but I think he has a good curveball. I think we'll see him use it more as the summer moves on.
1-1 to Springer, a pretty free swinger.
And that was a good fastball there at 95 miles an hour, tied him up.
Springer last night had the home run in the 8th inning off of Tyler Olson, the first homer that Olson has given up this year. And did that prove to be a difference maker, as the Mariners would homer twice in the 9th off of Mr. Impossible Luke Gregerson, who had only allowed 1 run in 20 appearances against Seattle until last night. Stiff ground ball, Cano's way, and that'll do it for the Astros. So a 1-2-3, bottom of the first, spun by Taijuan Walker. As we are quickly underway, we go to the second, scoreless. bobblehead night at Safeco Field, presented by Root Sports. As the Mariners take on the A's, the first 20,000 fans receive this collectible bobblehead of the Arrow shooting closer. Get your tickets at Mariners.com.
Looking at the bobblehead from Rodney, he saved every game when we were in Arlington. In fact, he had saved in 4 in a row. I wonder if Gregerson will be available tonight, the closer, the really good closer for this Astros club. He's closed the last 3 in a row for the Astros.
A.J. Hinch talked about that today a little bit. Kind of, Mike. Not quite as much as you would have liked, as Cruz lays into the first pitch. Back-to-back nights. How about it? Nelson Cruz, he'll touch a ball here in Houston. Home run number 12. What a start for Nelson Cruz.
Well, Aaron, maybe he wants to improve on that month of April. Just wasn't quite good enough.
Yeah. 10 home runs, that's all.
That's it. Here on the 2nd of May, already his 2nd home run of the month. So that was a little cut fastball out over the plate, 86 miles an hour. It's the back wall.
So he is homered in back-to-back at-bats dating back to last night. And Mike, it says something about last night's homer that the home run that we just witnessed was okay.
Yeah, exactly. He just hit the back wall.
Seager goes after the first pitch and spoils it foul. By the way, that home run last night, according to the new fancy stat tracker, measured at 469 feet, which was not as deep as the one he hit in Arlington, which was a laser beam to the second deck. But last night's was certainly, you could say, the most elaborate of the year. And he's had, well, they've all been impressive, haven't they?
Well, they have, and he's so tough. When we were showing the highlights before the game started on the home run last night, and really when you look at it, it looks like the ball goes straight up in the air off of his bat, ends up traveling over 460 feet.
A ball, a strike to Seager. 1-2.
Over on the radio in the pregame show, Gary Hill running things today, who does a fabulous job, but he decided that he was going to ask all of us on the round table about the longest home runs that we had seen and finish things up. His point to the end of it was, well, maybe the people that sit in the left field seats at Safeco might want to start bringing their gloves with them.
There's no doubt.
To protect themselves from the Nelson Cruz homer.
Where's some Kevlar when you come to the ballpark? Still 1-2 to Seager, who's had a rough go against McHugh. Lifetime 1 for 16. That one hit a double, however. So Cruz adds on to his major league leading home run tally. He's got 12 now. And Mike, entering tonight's game, his previous 2 homers had traveled 889 feet combined, which seems like a lot.
It is a lot.
2-2. Altuve's play. Oh, my goodness. He picks it up with a bare hand after he boots it. And it's been that kind of start to the season, especially against the Mariners, for Altuve. Out number 1.
Take a look at the pitch usage for McHugh this year. See his fastball at 27%. Look how many sliders he's throwing this year. That number is way up for him. A lot of sliders at 45%. Likes his curveball. Again, just his changeup. He'll show it a little bit early in the game, and then usually he gets away from it. But only 27% fastball so far early this year.
Pretty surprising for any pitcher.
It's almost shocking.
First pitch strike to Ricky Weeks.
Good curveball.
You would normally think that this would be a night for Dustin Ackley. Splitting time with Weeks, especially with a right-hander up on the mound. But not the case tonight as Lloyd looked at the numbers. Weeks behind 0-2. Ackley has had a rough time with McHugh lifetime, 0 for 13 with 6 punch-outs. So even though it's a right on right, Lloyd likes Weeks' chances slightly more. Weeks a couple of home runs so far this year. Ackley, might see him later tonight off the bench. You never know. One thing that the Astros really loved about McHugh when they claimed him off of waivers was his curveball, and they were able to somehow judge the spin rate of his curveball as A.J. Hinch, the first-year manager, looks on. And his spin rate was so far and away greater than what your typical curveball is that was really, if there's such thing as a selling point to a pitcher on waivers, that was it. They wanted to be able to work with him with that curve. They then added that four-seam fastball, which apparently, as we just talked about, he's not throwing quite as much.
No, I think he's definitely throwing more sliders, and that was the report that I was given today on him. And the numbers bear that out.
Week stays alive. But McHugh has been on just a tremendous roll.
Well, he has been. And the other thing that was surprising to me is typically when he gets 2 strikes on a hitter, he uses his fastball even less. So it goes down from the 27%. And if he falls behind accounts, typically he'll try to throw his curveball over to get back into counts.
Gets Luke swinging. First punch out tonight from McHugh.
Like the good slider off the plate away. So that is the pitch that he's going to a lot.
So he gives up the mammoth homer to Cruz to start the second, but then gets Seager and Weeks now facing Logan Morrison.
The Astros have the shift on with Logan hitting, and the good news is Logan's starting to move in the right direction. Last 3 games have been much better for him. Had the 4 hits the last game in Arlington, a hit in the opener here, and then had a couple hits last night, including a home run.
Well, you're right about that, Mike. He has more hits than outs in his last 3 games, and as a result, you have to love early numbers. He has upped his average by 64 points. So all it takes is
we talked about it last night. A good 3 or 4 days, and you can get yourself back into a situation to where it's manageable, and Logan is close to doing that.
2-1. Logan was hitting beneath 150 not that long ago, and now is at about 215, so definitely trending upwards. Lomo ahead of the count. And a hammer high right field. This had some carry. And the Mariners homer twice against McHugh in the second. So just like Nelson Cruz, Logan Morrison has homered in back-to-back at-bats dating back to last night. And an early 2-0 lead for the Mariners. We were saying something about Logan Morrison heating up.
Well, it's good to see. Logan typically hits 6th or 7th in the lineup depending on the night. So you can get more production from that end of it. As he gets this pitch, it looked like a changeup out over the plate.
First pitch to Zunino, a swing and a miss. What makes this so surprising is that entering tonight, Colin McHugh was one of 8 pitchers in the big leagues with at least 4 starts who had not allowed a home run. So these are the first 2 of the year.
And that makes sense. He was also, at the start of today, he was 5th in the American League in ground ball percentage. So he does an excellent job of not only getting his strikeouts, but keeping the ball on the ground,
which he has not done so far tonight, and not just the homers. You got Seager on a ground ball out, but the first 3 outs of the night were all through the air. Zunino behind 1-2. Opposite way with some carry, some height. Springer looks up and held up 3 home runs for the Mariners. 2 of them back-to-back with 2 outs. It started with Cruz, then Lomo, and now the opposite way for Mike Zunino. 3-0 Mariners.
This is such a good sign for Mike Zunino, trying to get things going. This is a good pitch by McHugh. It's elevated a little bit, but he's able to get it to the outside corner. Looked like a slider. And Mike, he has power to all fields, and hitting this ball the other way, not trying to do too much with it, just barrel it up. He's able to hit it into the seats. his 3rd home run on the year.
You could see Congress set up outside. Really wanted it wide there on Zunino. And he went with it. So now it's Miller's turn with 2 outs. So Cruz, Lomo, and Zunino. Miller rolls over to first. Gonzalez takes it himself in the sunshine, and that'll be it for the Mariners. But a fruitful second it is for the Mariners. Cruz, Logan Morrison, Mike Zunino all going deep here in Houston, Texas. Last stop for the Mariners, 3-0. Well, we take a look now at our Coors Light cold hard facts. And Mike, it looks like Taijuan Walker wears the sheriff's badge when he comes to Texas.
Good point. He's been dominant at 1.9 ERA. Opponents hitting just .239. About 20 strikeouts to just 6 walks. And a 4-0 record for Taijuan.
Taijuan started the first game of this road trip in Arlington with 7 innings. Only 1 walk, 5 strikeouts, an unearned run as he faces Gaddis to begin the home half of the second.
Mariners will have the shift on with Gaddis hitting.
Never takes a cheap swing. Gaddis homered last night. Took it out of the out-of-town scoreboard in left field, the high wall. Right to Miller, a couple of skips. High throw, and it's over Lomo's glove. Just nicked it.
I saw that while Taijuan Walker was getting loose on the mound. Kyle Seager, Logan had thrown a ground ball to Kyle Seager so the guys could get loose in between innings. And Kyle kind of lobbed it over there, and Logan had to get out of the way because he couldn't see it. So right here, I think this ball ends up in the sun. He's sitting in the sunlight. You can see him put his head down. Wasn't sure. And you can see how bright the sun is on him. I think that he normally would catch that ball. I'm not sure that he would get his foot down in time, but he's having a hard time. Guys are going to have to keep the ball down when they throw it across the diamond.
Leadoff man reaches.
It'll be an E6.
That one really got away from Miller. And this is something that Lloyd talked about just the other day here in Houston, as there have been some iffy throws at times this year for Miller. And to Lomo's credit, a number of them that have been low. Logan has been able to pick and make the out, but Miller's been very forthright about it. He knows he just has to improve his footwork.
I was a little bit surprised on that one, and sometimes you can be surprised when you look up and see how close the runner is. And Gaddis, for a big man, you wouldn't think that he can run, but he can get down the line. Because Brad, when he caught the ground ball, took his time, and it looked to me as if he was getting his feet set, and then he turned. I think sometimes you look up and then you rush the throw because it surprised you how far down the line the runner is. And maybe that's what happened to Brad on that throw.
Yeah, you're right. They got to him quickly. But we've seen Gaddis so far early this season. He can move. He leads at first. And a strikeout of Rasmus to make it 2-2.
Another good fastball from Taiwan at 95. And you can see Logan over there. He's probably not going to be real comfortable if Taiwan decides to throw over to first.
Rasmus stays alive, 2-2 still. It was in this very ballpark where Taijuan Walker made his major league debut back in August of 2013. Went 5 innings, an unearned run, struck out 2. But he has more starts here inside Minute Maid Park than he does at Safeco Field. This is his 6th start overall against the Astros. In fact, this is the identical pitching matchup the last time he saw Houston 2 starts ago. He faced McHugh. Hard hit, deep right field, trouble. Cruz looks up, plays the carom, it stays in the yard. Gaddis pedals into third base, and Rasmus nearly hit one out. He'll have to settle for a 2-base hit with 1 out.
And Mike Zunino making a trip out to the mound. This looks like the changeup from Taiwan, and it is 89 miles an hour. Pretty good pitch in the middle of the plate, but it's down out of the strike zone as Rasmus line drive over Cruz's head and right. Good play by Jackson to back him up and get it back in quickly. And the Mariners up by 3. They will play their infield back in this situation, so they just want to get an out.
Right back in it, John. Come on, kid.
First pitch to Gonzalez low.
Take a look at the highest opponent averages against the off-speed pitches, and you can see Taiwan right in there at 389. I think a lot of that damage came in the first couple of games, but that was a changeup that Rasmus just hit.
This is near the pole. This has got a ton of height. If it's fair, it is gone. And it is a foul ball. Up to the cheap seats.
Well, we're just showing you the off-speed pitches, and I think that this is either the cutter or his changeup. Left it up and in the middle of the plate. Clearly, it's a foul ball.
It's a loud strike 1. Gaddis at third, Rasmus at second. And Taiwan has Gonzalez behind 1-2.
His best fastball so far, 96 miles an hour.
A.J. Hinch said today that what he remembers most about Taijuan Walker's last start 2 times ago was that, as Hinch said, they had him really in tough situations time and time again, but he never broke. There were runners aboard, but Taiwan stayed firm and was able to work around it. Now trying to work out of 2 in scoring position with nobody out in the 2nd inning. Needs that first out. Walker just 22 years old tonight, his 13th major league start. That is all. Just a pup. Walking a tightrope here, missing inside. Gonzalez, a switch hitter, batting lefty. Right in line with Logan Morrison. A run scores. That is Gaddis. But the Mariners get the first out of the inning. Astros on the board. Mariners still lead it by 2. Well, this Mother's Day, treat mom to an afternoon at the ballpark as the Mariners host the A's. The first 10,000 moms on Sunday, May 10th, receive a Mariners sun hat courtesy of EQC. For tickets to Mother's Day at Safeco Field, just go to mariners.com. The error comes around to score. Gaddis reaching on the throwing error by Miller. Marisnick at the plate right now. Rasmus at third. Seager's way, but it's dead. Miller. Off balance throw. First base. Marisnick legs it out. And the Astros grab another run. Suddenly, Houston right in this ball game, down by just 1.
This was going to be a tough play for Brad. Once it gets past Kyle Marisnick, the center fielder, he can really get down the line. Brad gets rid of it quickly. And an accurate throw, but he clearly beats it for an infield hit.
One thing we have seen from Marisnick, Mike, is that he has reached on infield singles, on bunt singles, and of course last night, first pitch, he laced a home run into left field. He can get on base in a variety of ways.
Well, he's off to a great start. 383 average with 3 home runs and 11 RBIs at the start of this game. So he just picks up another RBI, and his average is going up from there.
Now the former Angel, Hank Conger, with a peek at Marisnick. Marisnick has 9 steals. That's tied for the most in the American League. Altuve has 9 as well. Springer has 8. Of course, the Astros leading baseball in stolen bases. It's actually an odd sequence of numbers. The Astros 32 home runs, 30 steals. Those home runs, the most in the American League. The Dodgers have more in the National League. No doubt about it, though, tonight Taijuan Walker facing the hottest Astros team that he's ever pitched against. Houston winning 8 in a row. They are in the midst of their longest winning streak since 2008. Conger slicing it through the left side. Weeks plays it. Marisnick to second. And Conger 1 for 1.
And Rick Waite's out of the dugout, heading out to the mound to have a conversation with Taijuan. This is an off-speed pitch. Looks like maybe it's his cutter or changeup. Good hitting by Conger to go the other way with that pitch.
Well, we saw, Mike, a 1-2-3, very quick, about 10 pitch first inning from Taijuan Walker. 2 ground ball outs, a strikeout. Anything that you've seen in what is turning out to be a lengthy second for Walker?
Well, I think first of all, the inning starts off with an error. That doesn't help. Then I thought that the pitch that he made to Rasmus, who doubled to right, I thought it was actually a pretty good changeup. It was in the middle of the plate, but it was down out of the strike zone. I think you have to give the hitter credit. That last pitch, same thing. That was down and just off the plate away. I think that he needs to get back to throwing his fastball some more and get back pitching inside. Just keep him honest, because right now we showed the average on his off-speed pitches this year. I think that he needs to get back and establish that fastball. There's a good fastball right on the outside corner. But I think for the most part, they've hit some good pitches. You know, of course, Marisnick, his base hit an infield chopper that he just found a hole in. So sometimes it just goes that way for you.
You're right between that and the error. But pitching inside has been the recipe to success for Walker the last 2 times out. Seager, a step on third, across the grass, and a double play. Exactly what Taijuan Walker needed to get out of this bottom of the second. We're off to the third. The Astros grab 2. Mariners by 1. you a bank difference of the game. And Mike, for a team averaging 3 runs so far in this road trip, 3 home runs in 1 inning, sure helps.
Well, it really helps, especially when the pitcher they're facing hasn't given up a home run this year. So to hit 3 of them in the same inning, Zunino going the opposite way right there. That's a huge lift for the Mariners.
Austin Jackson beginning things in the top of the 3rd. For the Mariners, that last inning was the first time since September of 2009 that they have homered 3 times in one frame. And Mike, you might remember this day. It was in Toronto. Kenji Jojima, Matu Yasasopo, Franklin Gutierrez.
I remember that day.
One of those home runs you got some pretty nice national pub about.
To Yasasopo. The home run that he hit.
And walk us through once again the depths of the prediction.
Gosh, I'm trying to remember all of it.
This was on the pregame show, Picks to Click.
Which we do it every day, and Rick Riz was pushing me a little bit that particular day. We were getting towards the end of the season. So I basically picked Matt to hit his first home run, the inning, the count.
Location?
I believe the location and the pitch. And but I thought I said it was going into the second deck, and it was in the first deck. So,
oh, well, all right, never mind.
Yeah, exactly.
The 2-2 to Jackson. If you can get one of those a year, or maybe one of those every 3 years, you're doing something right.
Well, I told Rick that I would pick the player every day, but I was done going down that road because once you do that, you're done.
You are done.
Yeah,
you're absolutely done. Full count to Jackson. The opposite way. Springer in the corner, and a foul ball. We were talking about this streak that Colin McHugh is on, as he'll have to pitch from behind early on tonight. He has won 10 straight decisions. In fact, he had won 8 consecutive starts in a row before his last no decision, which happened to be his last time out, 6 innings at San Diego. But he picked up the win in his previous start against the Mariners. That was 2 times ago at Safeco Field. Leadoff walk to Austin Jackson. You've seen Austin do a lot of that lately, Mike.
Well, he's had some long at bats. He's amongst league leaders in pitches seen per at bat. The other thing that he has done is he's really started to run. Has 5 stolen bases now. The Mariners have had at least 1 stolen base in the last 6 games. And I would not be surprised if he tries it here. Astros will put the shift on with Seth Smith hitting.
Something we're used to seeing by now. Smith to fly out the opposite way in the first inning. Keeping an eye on Jackson. But Colin McHugh has not been the losing pitcher of record since late July of last season in this ballpark interleague play against the Marlins. Missing outside. In fact, for McHugh, his last dozen starts dating back to last season, an ERA beneath 2.25.
It's always interesting to look at the defenses, and we talked about the shift on the infield. The Astros outfield playing just the opposite, shading him towards left. In fact, Springer is almost in center field right now, so if he can hit a hard ground ball past the first baseman, it will end up in the corner, and Jackson with his speed can score on it.
Smith ahead. And now really ahead. Well, for as well as Colin McHugh has pitched so far this year for the Astros, it is the man with the shades and the beard, Dallas Keuchel, who has been absolutely on fire. And Mike, the 2 men we're looking at right now are 2 of the guys very much in the discussion for American League Pitcher of the Month. Keuchel 3-0 in 5 starts, a .73 ERA. For Felix, 4-0 in 5 starts, a 1.82. But Keuchel, a ground ball aficionado, spun a complete game shutout against the Mariners last year in Seattle. And wouldn't you know it, these 2 teams have already played 2 series, of course including the one we're in right now. The Mariners will not see Keuchel and have not seen Keuchel, and the Astros have not and will not see King Felix. So both opening day starters.
Both clubs happy about that, I'm sure.
I would think so. Full count to Smith. The other guy that's really in the mix for that American League Pitcher of the Month, and you figure just by the ERA, Keuchel only 3 earned runs over 37 innings. He has to be a top candidate. But Chris Archer of Tampa Bay has been excellent to begin the year. He is not allowed to run in 27 straight innings. He is a sub-1 ERA. A lot of punch-outs.
Well, good news for the Mariners. McHugh, another full count.
There goes Jackson. A one-tapper. McHugh only played at first.
Jackson on the move. Good thing. Otherwise, that's probably a double play. But the Mariners get a runner in scoring position. We'll take a look. You can see Jackson take off and right back to McHugh. Still maybe had an outside shot. Decided to get the shore out and goes to first. But if Jackson had not been running, that would have been a double play.
So the walk to Jackson, now standing at second. Cano 4 for his last 10, including the out his first time up in the first inning. Things looking like they're turning around for Cano, who was in a little bit of a skid, 0 for 18 at one point coming into this series. But he has had multiple hits in each of the first 2 games here in Houston. One ball and 1 strike. Of course, the Mariners had that 3-game sweep in Arlington to begin this long 10-game all AL West road trip, and then losing the first 2 games here in Houston, both by a run. The first of which was in walk-off fashion thanks to Jose Altuve. Hard hit smash up the middle. Jackson into third base, but he gets the stop sign as that ball was in shallow center field for Marisnick. So Cano hits it on the screws. A single with 1 out.
Marisnick, the center fielder, has a strong throwing arm, and he had Cruz played perfectly. It was a one-hopper right to him.
That'll bring out Brent Strom, the pitching coach. We take a look at our T-Mobile game changer. Last 2 at-bats, Mike, both home runs. Neither was cheap from Cruz.
Well, take a look at the one that he had last night. Oh, he just hits the train that's on the railroad tracks on top of the wall. And then today, a normal home run for him, just hits the back wall.
Now we hope the conductor of that train, who was up there once again tonight, brought his glove. Was close to having a souvenir last night. So Cruz right now sitting on 12 homers. Maybe he's got it stashed someplace. So life of solitude up on the train tracks here in Houston. Big RBI chance here for Cruz.
And with the shift on the entire right side of the infield is wide open. We've seen him go that way a number of times this year to pick up some RBIs.
Looks back on that breaking ball but whiffs. There's the curve for McHugh.
Slow curveball, 73 miles an hour.
Jackson at third, Cano at first. Did we just see Cruz appeal his own check swing? Did he go Beltre right there?
No, he was letting Cano know at first base that
it looked like he was going Beltre.
That Conger was able to field the ball cleanly.
He was just missing the tap dance from Beltre. That time an upper fastball, 1-2. So Cruz leading baseball in home runs. Past Hanley Ramirez last night. They both came in tied at 10. Leading the majors in RBIs. Conger staying busy, 2-2. And by the way, not to take this pace for granted from Nelson Cruz, this is far and away his hottest start in his career. Last year, his 11th home run, which is what he was at coming into tonight, did not happen until mid-May, May the 14th. He hit his 11th last night, the first of the month, so 2 weeks ahead of time. Full count. So this by far his fastest to what was 11, and now by far his fastest to what is 12 home runs.
And for McHugh, 3 out of the 4 batters he has faced in this inning, all getting to full counts. So the Mariners starting to work on his pitch count.
You're right. Jackson Smith, Cano jumping on the 3rd pitch to single. 3-2 is popped up. Altuve has to get out of the shift. Springer has to come charging down, and he makes the shallow catch in right field. Jackson stays put, 2 outs.
And it's another slow curveball. This one's 74 miles an hour. Only Kyle Seager to come up with a clutch base hit.
Now this has been a tough place for the Mariners here in Houston. A runner at 3rd base with less than 2 outs.
Been tough in this series. They're 0 for 5 now.
First pitch strike to Seager. Kyle grounded out to Altuve back in the 2nd. A twirler left field. Rasmus near the line puts on the brakes for out number 3. The Mariners strand him on the corners. Leadoff walk. He's left at 3rd. We go to the bottom of the 3rd inning in Houston. Taijuan Walker all set to go. Mariners by a run. Mariners baseball on Root Sports is brought to you by Silver Reef Hotel Casino Spa. I-5, exit 260, Ferndale, Washington. By AM/PM, too much good stuff. And by BNSF Railway, sponsor of the BNSF Blast. We've had a few of those already today. 3 home runs in the 2nd by the Mariners. That has made up for all 3 runs. Of course, the Astros last night homered 3 times. That made up for all of their runs. And for the Astros, if you can believe it, that was their 6th game already this season with 3 home runs. That's tied for the most in baseball with the Dodgers. Altuve pops up pitch number 2. He's had some short at-bats tonight against Taijuan Walker, and he is officially 0 for 2. And that has to be huge for Taiwan to keep him off the bases. We saw how much he slows things down with his ability to steal second.
Well, and third, and he can score on base hits. He's really something, so you really want to keep him off the base. Taiwan so far doing a good job pitching him inside with a good fastball.
Altuve came into tonight with a 10-game hitting streak, and his last 9 with multiple hits. Valbuena looks to bump, but instead takes ball 1. Valbuena, the lone strikeout victim so far from Taijuan Walker. Fanned on a 94-mile-an-hour fastball in the first inning. The last time the Astros were in first place this late in the season, that was May of 2004. Ugly swing there as he can't make up his mind, and Valbuena behind 1-2. What a month of April it was for A.J. Hinch, the new manager for the Astros. One-time manager for the Diamondbacks, took over for Bob Melvin there. But it's funny to look at the last team for the Astros that was in first place at this stage in the season. Brad Ausmus was the catcher for the Astros. He, of course, is now managing the Tigers. Craig Biggio was in the outfield. He's going into Cooperstown this summer. Down on strike, second time. Once again, the Heat. Now we take a glance ahead to what's next for the Mariners. Jay Happ, Roberto Hernandez, and for Happ, Mike, he has been maybe the most consistent starter for the Mariners.
Well, I would say this about him. What an April. And a lot of people were wondering what Jay was going to do. Well, he's a veteran. He's a left-hander. He throws a lot of strikes. You can see the 18 strikeouts, only the 3 walks. His ERA down in the low 2s. He has really pitched well.
Two outs with Springer at the plate. Walker's 1-1. Makes it 2-1. The Astros entered tonight with 16 wins. That's tied for the most in baseball. Tied with the Royals, the Mets, and the Cardinals. And no surprise, those 4 teams rank in the top 6 in baseball in terms of pitching. Full count. Gaddis would be next, 2 outs. Walker retired the side in order in the first, trying to do it again here in the third. Astros scoring 2 runs, 1 earned in the second. Walker looking for strikeout number 3, but he loses Springer. First walk tonight from Walker. Gaddis was the unearned run in the second inning. He reached on the error by Miller. Well, there's no doubt about it. The Astros offense has been clicking full speed ahead during this 8-game winning streak. They're hitting nearly .285. They have 13 homers, 14 steals in their last 8 wins, all in a row. And they're averaging, and this is incredible, 7 runs a game. Now, a 14-run win on the road in San Diego skews those numbers a little bit. Quick tag.
Logan really does a good job. If you make a decent throw over to first, he will get the tag down quickly. And a good idea to keep your eye on Springer. Aaron had mentioned it earlier. They like to run, and that includes Springer. One ball and 1 strike.
That 14-run win, by the way, for the Astros. They scored 14 times. They struck out 13 times. First time since 2011 that had happened. And Gaddis behind 1-2. We've seen a lot more fastballs, it seems like.
And Taiwan's had a good one in this inning. He's been 94 to 96 miles an hour consistently. That last fastball, 95, right in the middle of the plate. Still, Gaddis still couldn't catch up to it. Good fastball. Oh boy!
Skips away from Lobo. Springer to second base easily.
That will be an E1.
Second Mariners error. Almost hits him. And Zunino out to have a quick word. We've talked about the home runs with the Astros. Their percentage of runs scored off the home run ball has increased now each of the last 3 years. This year, they're scoring nearly 45% of their runs on homers. Gaddis went deep last night. Hammers it high, left field, and back-to-back nights for Gaddis. This is a bomb. Astros take the lead. A 2-out walk, and then Gaddis with some muscle.
Well, we'll take a look at it. I think he wants to bounce this curveball. Zunino giving the low target. After a couple of really good fastballs, he makes a mistake and just hangs it middle in. And Gaddis makes him pay for it as he hits it off the back wall.
Now facing Rasmus. Now Gaddis has been a major run producer. 2 RBIs now every game of this series. Rasmus high. This might scrape the lights. Cruz back at the track. Into the seats. Astros go back-to-back with 2 outs in the third. Blink your eyes, they've got the lead.
Rasmus had doubled on a changeup his first time up, and he gets another changeup right here at 91 miles an hour, and it is middle in. Powering home run out to right field. Rick Wake making a trip out to the mound. He went out there in the second inning and back out again, trying to settle the right-hander down. A couple of off-speed pitches. The curveball to Gaddis and then the changeup to Rasmus.
We have seen an absolute home run barrage here lately. The Mariners back-to-back in the second overall. 3 homers in that inning. First time the Mariners have done that since '09. Astros back-to-back here in the third. And of course last night we saw the Astros homer in the 8th. We saw the Mariners homer twice in the 9th. So last 5 innings of baseball between these two teams, we have witnessed 8 balls leave the park. Just because this lineup strikes out a lot does not make them an easy team to pitch to. Line drive. Cruz has to move back. Can't get there. And a ground rule double. After the walk, 3 straight extra base hits. And in one form or another, they all go over the wall.
Well, this one is on the fastball, 95 miles an hour. He gets it to the outside corner. But again, it's belt high.
This inning's thrown it off very well for Taijuan Walker. He got Altuve to pop up early in the at-bat. He struck out Valbuena on a fastball, but then a 2-out walk. And that has sparked the rally. Marisnick takes low. It was a walk and in the air on the throw to first base. Back-to-back homers, now a double. Just gets a piece. Well, the Astros now with 5 runs. 4 has been the magic number this year for Houston. They are undefeated when scoring 4 or more runs. They are 14-0. And they are yet to lose the game this year when they have led at any point in the contest. Up and in. Now spin Marisnick around. 2-2. 25 pitch inning here for Taijuan Walker. And he threw only about 6 pitches or so to get the first 2 outs.
And you can see Zunino with his glove telling him get the ball down. That last pitch in the middle of the plate and elevated. That was a well-located cutter off the plate away.
Count stays 2-2. It's a warm and breezy night here in Texas, in downtown Houston. And the ball really flying, to say the least.
And Taijuan's pitch count getting up on him. This next pitch will be 64 as he works here in the 3rd.
Full count. A.J. Hinch had some interesting words about Walker. Of course, you saw Walker 2 starts ago, and he said of Taijuan, he has passed the prospect stage, but not quite arrived at the arrival stage, meaning he's not quite to where he's a consistent guy. Medina warming up. Miller has it. Needs one more out. Marisnick can run, and he's out at first base. Gonzalez stranded, but back-to-back homers, all coming with 2 outs. It was a Springer walk that sparked it, and the Astros suddenly lead by 2. Mariners calendar brought to you by Sleep Country USA. The Mariners continuing this lengthy 10-game road swing. Tonight, game 3 here in Houston. Tomorrow, the finale. Jay Happ will be on the mound. Then it's off to Anaheim, the Big A. 3-game set with the Angels. First time seeing them since opening day, the opening series. Angels Right now, 11-12, a game ahead of the Mariners. That'll be a big series for the Mariners, just like this one. Astros, well, right now, like they'll never lose another game this year. They've won 8 straight. Weeks, a chopper. VR, routine play for out number 1. That brings in Logan Morrison.
Logan with a home run his first time up. Long fly ball out to right field.
He has homered in back-to-back at-bats dating back to last night. Colin McHugh, 27 years old. He's from Naperville, Illinois, which is just about an hour southwest of Wrigley Field. Makes his offseason home in Atlanta. Comes from a very creative family. He has 2 siblings who are singer-songwriters in Nashville. McHugh, a pretty creative guy himself. He has a blog called A Day Older and a Day Wiser, and to his own admission, he doesn't update it quite as frequently as he would like once the season gets underway. And you can understand the time constraints as he gets ahead of Lomo 1-2.
That was one of the better curveballs that he's thrown.
Two and two. McHugh, his last blog entry on A Day Older, a Day Wiser is a really fascinating one. It's entitled A Letter to My Minor League Self. And he's writing this, of course, as a guy who has spent now a number of years in the majors. Full count to Logan. And it really reads as a series of bullet points with explanations. And Mike, some of these from a former player's perspective you could probably agree with as Mike Zunino waits his turn. One of the things he says is fans will be fans. Don't take it personally.
Good advice.
Holds back on a breaking ball. Count still full. This is another good one. Approach social media with caution, he says to his minor league self. You didn't have to worry about that.
To his minor league self.
Yeah.
That's what I like the best.
So this is advice to any minor leaguer or even major leaguer for that matter. Payoff pitch. Hard hit grounder, but VR on the other side of second to shortstop. Out number 2. Well, we hope you stick around after tonight's game for Mariners postgame presented by Delta Airlines. 2 up, 2 down for McHugh, now facing Mike Zunino. Mariners took an early 3-0 lead, but then the Astros have since scored 5 unanswered runs.
An impressive home run for Zunino. And we all know about his power, but I liked it because he was a cutter that was on the outside corner. Similar to that last pitch, maybe elevated a little bit more than that, and then he went the other way to hit his home run out to right field and didn't try to pull it.
1-1. No, you're right. Playable to center field. Marisnik at an angle. Round number 3. So McHugh retires the Mariners in order for the first time since the first inning. We go to the bottom of the 4th. Astros by 2. date in Major League history, and this was a memorable one for Mariners fans. Mike Cameron, 4 home runs in a massive win in Chicago against the White Sox. He nearly had a 5th. His final out of the night was about to the warning track. And the at-bat before that, he was hit by a pitch. But he and Brett Boone went back-to-back twice in that game, both times in the first inning.
I remember that game.
Conger to right field. Cruz plays it on a hop. Long single for Hank Conger. He's 2 for 2. There are so many good things about that game against the White Sox. And one of the best parts is if you go back and you find that video footage, Hawk Harrelson, the TV voice of the White Sox, who has really become a national figure in the last however many years.
Right.
You could just hear Hawk getting more frustrated and more frustrated and finally just utter disgust at Mike Cameron for homering
on the 4th one.
Yeah, on the 4th one. It was fantastic. The yard jumping on the first pitch. Once again in front of Cruz. Back-to-back base hits to open up the bottom of the 4th.
Take a look at it. That's the changeup, 88 miles an hour on the outside corner. Now you have trouble with Altuve coming to the plate for his 3rd at bat.
Now the amazing thing here tonight so far, as Lloyd McClendon comes out, the Astros have 5 runs and Altuve is 0 for 2.
Well, this will be an interesting conversation. A couple of off-speed pitches hit again in this inning.
Mike, do you get any sense in a situation like this, is this Lloyd more gauging the temperature of Taiwan or more kind of a call to arms?
I've talked to Lloyd about it and asked him, and he said most of the time when he goes out there, he has a thought as he's sitting in the dugout about something he wants done, and he's not going to not say it and let something else happen and kick himself later. So he says, at that point, if I can make the trip, I'm going to go out there and let him know. And I think probably more at this point how he wants him to pitch to Altuve. He's pitched him inside with the fastballs first couple of times.
First 2 men reaching. Ball 1 to Altuve. The Astros have retired 1-2-3 in the first. They have since gone 8 for 14. As tonight got off very well for Taijuan Walker in the first inning, but a struggle since. And not all his fault.
And it looks like Medina getting loose in the pen. He's up for the 2nd time in this game.
High fly, left center field, distance, going back to the wall, and a 3-run homer for Jose Altuve.
Well, take a look at it. Fastball elevated, middle of the plate. He gives this a good ride. That's 400 feet away, and that's going to be it for Taijuan Walker. Lloyd McClendon quickly out of the dugout.
Now, like that soda can that falls out the refrigerator onto the kitchen floor, this game has exploded in the Astros' favor awfully fast. We'll step aside. Now the Astros have now scored 8 runs in 3+ innings. They have chased Taijuan Walker out of the game tonight, Mike. Had a lot of hopes for Taijuan entering tonight, but it did not go well his final 2 innings or so.
Well, he was off to a good run, had a great first inning, and then everything kind of fell apart after that. 9 hits for him in this one. 8 runs, 7 of them earned, 1 walk, 2 strikeouts. He threw 70 pitches, 45 of them for strikes.
So Taijuan will be a spectator the rest of the night, hoping for a come-from-behind win here in Houston. Astros have won the first 2 games. So Medina to face Valbuena.
And for Medina, 1-0 record, a 2.45 ERA in 11 innings. He has 8 strikeouts. He's walked 6 batters. He's yet to give up a home run this year.
We saw him last night, a 1-2-3 7th inning. Faced the bottom 3rd in the order. Medina, a former starter in the minor leagues. We saw him pitch plenty of times last year in many high leverage situations. Opposite way and high. Weeks sensing the wall. Weeks looks up and tack up another homer for the Astros. That's number 4. They have now homered 7 times the last 2 games.
Valbuena, his 6th home run, and he's hit 3 of the 6 against the Mariners. Another elevated fastball. Our EQC tracer tonight seeing a lot of pitches up in the zone.
Three homers last night for the Astros, 4 tonight, and there was not yet an out in their half of the 4th inning. Pretty good gap there between the Astros and the Yankees for most home runs in the league. Springer has 4 of them. Medina behind 2-0. We've talked before about the power and speed combination the Astros have this year. And if you look at Springer and Jake Marisnick batting 7th, they're the only 2 men in baseball this year to have at least 3 home runs and at least 8 steals. That's early. 4-pitch walk. Springer walked for the 2nd time. Well, who are the 4 players who best represent the history of the Mariners, and who are the 4 greatest living Major League Baseball players? Go to MLB.com/franchise4 to cast your ballots. Winners will be revealed during the All-Star Game July 14th, televised on Fox. It's always fun discussing the franchise 4 for the Mariners. And tomorrow on the pregame show, before Jay Happ's 5th start of the season, we'll have a chance to hear from Shannon Dreyer of the Mariners Radio Network. Shannon will tell us who her franchise 4 are for the Mariners and for the Astros.
I think Rick waits his trip out to the mound. He wants to get Medina back to pitching again after the home run. It looked as if the 4 fastballs he threw Springer, he was just reaching back and throwing them in anger. And I think he just wanted to settle him down a little bit. There's a good breaking ball.
Gaddis, 2-run homer his last time up. That was in the 3rd. Now the Astros have been littering the base paths. 13 of the last 18 Astros hitters have reached. Gaddis behind, 0-2. No batting gloves for Gaddis, and he looks like he's about to turn that bat handle into sawdust midway through the at-bat. Still 0-2. Springer at first base. He reached on ball 4. Medina trying to get the first out of the inning. And there it is. Gaddis retired for the first time. That brings in Rasmus. You know, Mike, as we see there, it looked like that slider from Medina. It's so interesting because Yoervis says time and time again that that pitch is a slider, but it looks like it has the grip of what some guys would throw as a knuckle curve, where that index finger kind of points straight up in the sky.
No, I would agree with you. It's rare. And I know that he calls it a slider, and at times it has the break of a really good slider. It doesn't have the big 12-6 to it. And most of the time when you see that, throw the knuckle curve, and that's the 12-6 that you're going to see more often. This ball is skied in the middle of the diamond. But for Medina, he feels most comfortable throwing a slider like that.
Rasmus a quick and easy out. 2 down. Now on to face Marwin Gonzalez. Now, of course, Gonzalez, the man who is forever etched in the history books for breaking up Yu Darvish's perfect game with 2 outs in the 9th inning in this very ballpark back in 2013. And the frustrating part of it for Darvish, besides just the obvious, is that Gonzalez at the time had barely 200 major league at-bats. That was the second game of the season. But he singled up the middle. It went right between the wickets. Right? Yeah, right by the ankles of Darvish. Of course, Darvish out to the season with Tommy John. Huge loss for the Rangers. There goes Springer. Zunino not even close. And an extra base for Springer. All things going the Astros' way.
Take a look at the throw by Mike. Not a bad pitch to throw on. He just never gets squared up. You can see it sailing out towards right center.
We just don't see throws like that for Mike.
No.
That's the 3rd error already tonight. Springer 90 feet from home with 2 outs. You know, talking about Darvish, you wonder how much that was in Darvish's head when he came out away from a no-hitter the next year against the Red Sox. 2 outs in the 9th inning, and Boston spoiled it. So twice in as many years, Darvish had either a perfect game or a no-no. But didn't. 2-1.
Well, he should give Nolan Ryan a call.
12-1 hitters.
12-1 hitters.
The difference is that, at least in the Astros game, the almost perfect game, Darvish did not finish that game. But what was 160 pitches to Nolan Ryan, Mike? That was just the bullpen session.
Exactly. Things have changed, haven't they?
Marisnik on deck. He would hit if Gonzalez can reach with 2 outs. Lomo right there. Short toss. And that'll do it for the Astros. But they have opened this one up wide open here in the 4th. Back-to-back homers for the 2nd time tonight. And a healthy cushion as we go to the 5th. All right, Angie, thank you. Mike just put on his rally cap. We're ready to go here in the 5th. 9-3 Astros. They have scored 7 of their 9 runs on 4 homers. They homered 3 times last night, so a lot of ground to make up.
Strange game. Mariners have scored all 3 of their runs on 3 homers.
You're right. 3 in the 2nd inning, including back-to-back shots. Marisnik tiptoes back and forth, and there is out number 1.
And it looks like Tyler Olson will be next up for the Mariners. Lloyd looking to get a few innings out of Tyler tonight.
We saw Olson for an inning. That was the 8th inning last night. He's kind of been the de facto long man for the Mariners this year. We've seen him in situations to get a lefty out, but it seems like more times than not he's been called out there to get more than just 3 outs.
Yeah, I would agree with that. And some of that, obviously, with Tom Wilhelmsen being on the disabled list, Tom would normally pick up some of that slack. Tom pretty much do whatever you need him to do out in the bullpen.
Talked about it yesterday. Yesterday afternoon, Wilhelmsen threw 25 pitches, his first bullpen session. Said he let it rip about 90 to 95%, so close to full effort there. Throw again tomorrow, it sounds like. Another out. 2 up, 2 down. McHugh has sat down the last 7. Well, as we play here against the Astros, we take a look at our Delta Airlines Keep Climbing standings. Astros, as we mentioned earlier, tied for the most wins in baseball, and everything else, Mike, pretty murky in the division.
I'm not sure that it's going to separate for a while. The Astros obviously way out in front of everybody.
Strike 1 to Smith. Astros have won 8 in a row. Hottest team in baseball. Not a good time to be facing the former Colt 45s. What a first month and change it has been for A.J. Hinch. Former Oakland A, the former All-American at Stanford. All-American catcher. Into the shift. VR. 9 pitches, 3 outs for McHugh, who has sat down the last 8. On to the bottom of the 5th. Astros have the lead. Well, things got off started off awfully well for the Mariners here tonight. Nelson Cruz, then Logan Morrison. The Mariners homering 3 times overall as Mike Zunino chipped in with that 3-homer 2nd inning. But then watch out, the Blacks and Astros coming back. They homer back-to-back in the third. They homer back-to-back in the fourth. They have clobbered 4 home runs here tonight to make up 7 of their 9 runs scored. 9 runs, 10 hits. The Mariners had the lead, but the Astros 9 unanswered runs since. Walker chased down after 3+. Medina, an inning, gave up a home run to Valbuena, and now it's up to young Tyler Olson.
Boy, McClendon going to look for some innings from Tyler. 5.23 ERA so far. 10 1/3 as far as the innings go.
First pitch strike to Marisnik.
He can get 2 innings out of Tyler. Love to get 3, but if he could get 2, I think he would take it. They need to find a way to keep the score right where it's at.
I suppose if there's any good news, it's that the Astros scored early. And the Mariners have some time, although it's a pretty big hole to shovel out of, but there is time. We've seen a really nice curveball from Tyler Olson. His first go around in the major leagues, and he said that he learned his curveball from videos that his father purchased when he was in high school, and it was from those videos that he started tinkering with the mechanics and the grip. Then at one point he worked with a pitching coach from Stanford before, of course, going on to Gonzaga. But never a reliever until this year. Morrison far off the bag. Olson, the foot race to first base. Marisnik can fly, and he's safe. The second infield single.
Logan playing well off the bag, and again, the left-hander Olson, typically when they finish their pitch, they're going to fall off towards the third base side, and by the time he gets turned around, Marisnik, who was reaching out on that breaking ball or changeup, had some momentum going to first and ends up beating him in a foot race.
So 2 infield singles for Marisnik. We saw him reach on a bunt single the other night. Now it's strange to see Hank Conger in orange instead of red so many years with the Angels. And he really had some high praise for Mike Scioscia, former manager in Anaheim, and as we know, Scioscia was a very well versed catcher for many years with the Dodgers. High pop up. Morrison tiptoes. Here comes Cano, and a chin high catch. Marisnik stays put, and that'll bring up the arm. VR turns 24 today. 1 for 2, a single and a run scored back in the fourth. Taijuan Walker went 3+, 8 runs, 7 earned on 9 hits, and that is a polar opposite performance from what we have seen from Mariners starters on this road trip. 5 games of this trip, and the Mariners starters a 2.16 ERA. In fact, those 8 runs that Taijuan gave up tonight match the total amount of runs allowed by Mariners starters the first 5 games of this road trip. Big rip and a miss.
Well, the good news, we know that Taijuan can bounce back from an outing like today when things didn't go well at all. His first couple of outings this year did not go well, and then he pitched well in the next 2. And I think the thing that we all need to remember is he's 22 years old, and he's going to have outings like this from time to time. You hope that they start to spread out a little bit as the season moves on, but he'll bounce back from it.
Well, there are young pitchers in terms of when their birthday is. There are young pitchers in terms of how many starts they have. And in Taijuan's case,
he's both.
He fits both categories.
Yes.
22 years old tonight, his 13th major league start. And days like this can happen to pitchers like that. In fact, they seemingly do from time to time.
Come on, Johnny. Come on. Fine, Johnny.
Now the shadows at home plate are long gone. They were there when we started tonight, but the lights beginning to show up a little bit on the playing surface. There's a 6 o'clock local time first pitch, so an hour earlier than usual on a Saturday night. Move open. Don't see that very often here.
Called a balk.
That's home plate umpire Ron Culpa. He called it as soon as that ball punched the glove of Zunino and Lloyd. Can't believe it. And now Culpa and Lloyd having a conversation. Culpa in his 17th season as a major league manager.
I don't think Tyler ever came set, and that's the reason why the balk was called by the home plate umpire.
Off the handle. Miller. Strong throw to first, 2 outs.
Let's take a look at Tyler. Both umpires, it looked as if they called it. First base umpire Brian Knight also called it. They're just going to put Altuve on. That's a good idea.
Altuve already extended his hit streak to 11 games. He's trying to extend a multi-hit streak, which is sitting at 9 right now. And he is as dialed in as anybody in the game, as Valbuena will dig in a moment. And as his manager A.J. Hinch said today, this game is not as easy as Jose Altuve is making it look right now. Two-out intentional pass. 2 on. That brings in Valbuena.
You can see the hits leader. He's at the top of the list with 39 hits.
He has more hits against the Mariners than anyone else since the time the Astros joined the division back in 2013.
39 hits. This is only their 24th game.
Batting champ last year. Valbuena, a home run his last time up, his 6th on the season. Astros have smacked 4 of them tonight. Olsen working with 2 on. Twisting pop up. Weeks, a late break. Weeks comes in. He glides and makes the catch. A delayed start. And he keeps that from hitting the grass. Astros leave 2. We're up to the 6th. Mariners have some ground to make up. They lead it by 6 as we open up the 6th inning. And kids, well, you'll want to be at Safeco Field on Sunday, May 10th for Robinson Cano Wristband Day, courtesy of Aquafina. All kids in attendance for the Mariners-A's game on the 10th of May will take home a pair of these Robinson Cano wristbands. For tickets, go to Mariners.com. And speaking of number 22, he'll lead things off for the Mariners. Cano, a chopper on the right side. That's 9 straight sat down by McHugh.
Good shape with his pitch count, 76 pitches. We were talking about at the start of the game, McHugh, one of the better ground ball pitchers in the American League. And the game started with 3 fly ball outs and then the 3 home runs for the Mariners in the second. But since then, he settled down. He's starting to get the ball on the ground. A lot of ground ball outs.
And you talk about how efficient he's been since he has gotten the lead. He's retired 7 in a row on only 21 pitches. First pitch strike. Cruz now a dozen home runs on the season. His 12th earlier tonight. And maybe another, no doubt about it. Nelson Cruz. That is all the way out. Second home run tonight, 13 on the season.
I think that cleared the railroad tracks. It's on the slow curveball, 74 miles an hour.
I got it, Mac. Come on, Mac. Come on now.
Look right above the A in Astros. Now you see it, and now you don't.
Out on the street.
Seager's turn with 1 out. Well, we mentioned it earlier, but the numbers are remarkable. McHugh had not allowed a run in his first 4 starts, and he's given up 4. Pardon me, thank you. A home run, thank you. A home run in his last 4 starts, his first 4 of the season, and he's copped up 4 tonight.
And the Astros will keep the shift on with Kyle hitting. Kyle 0 for 2, a ground out, fly out to left. There you can see the defense.
As A.J. Hinch put it today, the Astros are a shift-obsessive team. They do it maybe more than anybody else. Seager down on strikes, 2 down. Well, how about now a look at our CenturyLink What's Next? Jay Happ will look to right the ship tomorrow afternoon, day baseball. It'll be a warm one here in Houston. Happ a quality start each of his first 4 times out against Roberto Hernandez of the Astros. Astros rotation has been one of the best so far this year in the American League. Same story with their bullpen. Happ has been brilliant. Inside the Weeks. And Lloyd has been really impressed with the way that Happ has been throwing his changeup, Mike.
He's had a really good changeup. He's also been able to locate his fastball. As a veteran pitcher, as you would expect, he not only pitches on the corners, but he can also elevate his fastball, pitch down in the zone.
Ball and 2 strikes to Weeks. Up high, 2-2. Weeks looking for his first hit tonight. It was a real honor for Weeks to play at Dodger Stadium this year on Jackie Robinson Day. His grandfather, Victor, had a brief stint in the Negro Leagues. He is very well versed in that history. His grandfather played for the Newark Eagles in the late 40s. In fact, Ricky's dad, Ricky Weeks Sr., started the Orlando Monarchs in the Florida Collegiate Woodbat League, a summer league, kind of like the Cape Cod League. Jonathan Lucroy played in that league. It's a team that has a roster comprised mostly of minorities to serve that role. Three balls and 2 strikes to Weeks. 0 for 2 tonight. Morrison waiting on deck. He homered his first time up. Inside. Second walk tonight from Q. Walked Jackson in the 3rd inning, so that will keep this Mariners 6th alive for Logan Morrison.
And the Astros will put the shift on again, as you mentioned, Aaron. They will do that to almost every hitter in the lineup. There's only a couple that they will not shift on.
Morrison, a foul ball. You're right. They shift against guys that nobody else shifts against. And really, it's a trend. We've mentioned this before, but it has doubled shifting, that is, almost every year since they started tracking it a handful of years ago. Well, if somebody told you that the Mariners would grab 4 home runs off of Colin McHugh tonight, something that he has never allowed to happen before, this a career high in a single start, you'd feel pretty good about it. Morrison, a lot of room at center field. Marisnik might have to fight the hill, and he makes the catch. The Astros will never lose again. We go to the bottom of the 6th inning. times that we take a look at our Big Fish Casino big catch, and Mike disqualifies.
It really does. First of all, it's a great swing by Logan Morrison to drive that ball over 400 feet. And then you have the slope out there, and he times it perfectly to make the catch as he slides up the slope on his dive. That cost the Mariners a run for sure, maybe more.
Colin McHugh can't believe it. Olsen back out there to work the bottom of the 6th. And Mike, this team is led by Jose Altuve, the Astros, and Altuve the hottest hitter in the American League, but Marisnick might be the best player they've got. They were shifting for Springer, out number 1.
Other than Altuve?
Yeah.
I would agree. He's off to a great start. And we've seen him make a couple of plays. He also has a strong throwing arm. A couple of infield hits today. We've seen him hit the ball out of the ballpark. The start of today, he was hitting .383 with 3 home runs.
He's the type of guy you would love to put at the NFL Combine for a day, because he can burn. He's an absolute speedster. We've seen him hit laser beam home runs. We've seen him drop down bunt singles, infield singles he's legged out. 10-game hitting streak. Everything's going right.
And not an average 10-game hitting streak. He's hitting almost 500 over that hitting streak. 15 for 32.
Gobbled up by Seager. Out number 2. There has been some talk, by the way, about Taos Hill, which Marisnick turned into a vertical slip and slide a minute or 2 ago, about removing that next season.
I wish that they would.
It really turns this ballpark into more of a carnival, especially with the flagpole, which you saw there just in the corner of the screen. The flagpole, which is in play. They were kind enough to put some padding around it.
You see, it's 436 feet. They run a fence across there. Logan Morrison probably has a 2-run homer right now.
A couple of years ago, we saw Michael Saunders hit one over the warning track, because let's face it, even for an athletic center fielder to get back there and make a catch on the hill, as Weeks comes down from his perch, Miller, and it drops. Rasmus the tag, he's safe. Well, this has been one of those games.
And it's that time of the evening. We'll see if it's a communication issue or if Ricky just didn't see it. Brad heading back. He's looking. He thinks Ricky's going to take it. Ricky picked it up late. You can see him trying to lunge for it last minute.
We saw Weeks have a late break on a ball to end an inning not long ago, but he was able to speed up and make the catch. He's had some tough reads out there tonight.
I think the other thing with the hill in center field is I'm surprised that somebody hasn't been hurt on that thing. You're running and all of a sudden you hit that hill. It's just like what they used to have the mounds and on the bullpens down the left and right field lines, and guys would run over and hit those mounds, and sometimes they would get hurt.
Your legs on this hill just get cut out from right underneath you.
Exactly.
You got to start high stepping. That's a double, by the way, for Rasmus. Maybe the oddest he'll have all year. We saw some miscommunication earlier in this series in right field between Smith and Austin Jackson, and Lloyd was asked about it the next day. He was essentially asked, 2 players haven't spent much time together in the outfield. Is that tough on communication? And he said, no. All you have to say is, I've got it. Now, not all situations are created equal, as it has been this theme tonight for the Astros. Ricky Weeks, the carom, a run scores. That's Rasmus. A 10 spot for Houston tonight.
And with this double, Rasmus will score his 3rd run of the ball game. 2 doubles and a homer. This one hits right below that yellow line off the wall. That's too bad for Tyler. He should have been out of the inning.
You're right.
Now he ends up getting an earned run.
Now he has to face Superman Jake Marisnick. Curve for a strike.
As he steps in, his batting average at .397.
10-game hitting streak. High center field. Jackson has the room. He gets there in time. Marisnick out to his counterpart. The Astros grab another run. They've got 10 through 6 innings. Follow us from a safe distance on Twitter at Sound Transit. Aaron Goldsmith alongside Mike Flowers, our entire root crew here in downtown Houston. A shot from earlier today. The roof open here at Minute Maid Park. It was an awfully nice day earlier on, and things have not quite turned out the way the Mariners were hoping for in this one. Taijuan Walker, 3+ innings, 8 runs, 9 hits. The Astros 4 homers, but the Mariners 4 homers. The difference, they've all come with the bases empty. Zunino off yesterday, his first true full day off of the season. Opposite field homer back in the second.
Get together, Mac.
Thatcher warming up in the bullpen. To center field, Marisnick held up. Now coasting back. Out number 1. Zunino out to the glove of Marisnick for the second straight at bat. It brings in Brad Miller. McHugh's pitch count getting up there. Almost 100. And Mike, this kind of brings into the discussion that we see so many times now in recent years, with pitching becoming more and more specialized, bullpens getting better and better with more depth. The Astros bullpen has an extra arm in it. Oftentimes you really don't want to wear down the starter to get to the bullpen, and tonight is a situation where it's really pick your poison. We see the type of run McHugh has been on, and we know the run that the Astros bullpen has been on.
Right. And it's the reason why they've won as many in a row as they have, and why they're in first place in large part. They've also played really good defense.
2 up, 2 down. Well, this copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Seattle Mariners and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Seattle Mariners. Clock ticking on McHugh, trying to go 7 innings here tonight. McHugh has never given up 4 home runs in a start, and yet he is working with a 6-run lead. McHugh trying to win his 11th straight decision, and barring a big comeback, it'll work out for him. There you go. Base hit with 2 outs for Austin Jackson, his first hit tonight. So some speed on the bases.
1 for 3. He's been on base a couple of times. Had a walk back in the 3rd inning.
And he's really been a bright spot this series. 2 walks last night. Reached 3 times in game 1 on 3 hits.
Leads the club in stolen bases with 5. The Mariners stolen a base in 6 consecutive games. Down by 6. I'm not sure that he'll try to run here.
So McHugh over 100 pitches, now facing the lefty and Seth Smith. He is nearing his season high pitch count of 105. That was against the Mariners 2 starts ago at Safeco Field. And in some ways, this game a little bit of a resemblance to his last start against the Mariners, where he gave up the lead, continued to pitch tough, and his offense came back and bailed him out. And he did his part too.
There's something to be said with wanting to pitch deep into ball games. It's not always going to go well for you at the start, but if you can hang in there, you can pick up a couple extra wins over the course of the summer, and he certainly has done that. And he's putting himself in position again. It really comes down to, Aaron, I think more times than not, is can you settle down and keep yourself in the ball game? So many times when the wheels start to come off, it's tough to stop that, and that's when you see guys, some managers will make the changes. But we've seen this from him a number of times, as you mentioned.
And he gets Smith swinging and missing, and likely the final at bat or batter phase for McHugh. And he collects his 3rd strikeout. We go to the bottom of the 7th. Time to stretch. Astros have the lead. Your mind as you consider how a Washington's lottery win would change your bucket list. Play today. Beautiful look at downtown Houston, Texas. The Astros 13 hits, 4 of those homers, 4 of those doubles. As Hank Conger will lead off the home half of the 7th against lefty Tyler Olson. Conger, a former first-round draft pick by the Angels, traded during the offseason. He grew up in Southern California. near the Big A. In fact, his family, his parents live only 10 minutes away from Angel Stadium.
He's had a good night. He has a couple of hits.
2 singles, a run scored.
Yep. In fact, 8 out of the 9 starters for the Astros have at least one base hit. The only one without a hit is Springer, but he's walked twice.
This will send Weeks to the wall, and another home run. Number 5 for the Astros.
Tyler ends up giving him a fastball, 88 miles an hour, and it's right in the middle of the plate. Mariners have not been able to get away with too many of those tonight.
Now facing the arm. The last time the Astros homered 5 times in a game was September of last year against the Mariners. The most that they have ever homered in one game is 7 times. That was in September of 2000 against the Cubs, as Danny Farquhar loosens up the right arm. Weeks, is he going to watch number 6? He's at the wall. Close. Well, the first girls' night out event of the year is set for this Friday when the Mariners take on the Oakland A's. And for just $35, you'll get a view or a terrace club seat, a great-looking Mariners cap, and your first drink. Visit mariners.com/girls for tickets. The Astros become the 4th team this year to homer 5 times in a game. The Reds, the Blue Jays, and the Red Sox have all done it. So here is Altuve trying to extend a multi-hit streak to 10 games. He's extended his regular hit streak to 11.
I think he fouled that first pitch off of his knee. Tyler with a good fastball just in off the plate.
Broke his bat. Hooking. And a foul ball. 9 home runs tonight combined, 5 by the Astros, and that is a new Minute Maid Park record. We have never seen 9 homers here in downtown Houston. And there you see it. Lift off indeed. The guys in the truck, Mike, they're so clever.
Paulie working hard, working really hard tonight.
No doubt. Comes up with his own stuff.
We'll see if Tyler Olson throws another fastball inside, maybe in off the plate. That's what he wanted.
Altuve right now, I mentioned it earlier, more hits than anybody else against the Mariners since the Astros joined the division. It's a little surprising when you find out who has the most hits ever against the Mariners. A thought, Mike?
I was just thinking Altuve, I like the way that Tyler Olson has attacked him in this at bat, and that is all fastballs inside, in off the plate, till that last breaking ball down out of the zone. But I think the one thing we've seen from Altuve, we've talked about, he's an aggressive hitter and he can hit a lot of different pitches, but he'll also chase that pitch that's well in off the plate. And with everything else that they've tried, I just like the fact that Tyler's trying something different right here and just trying to stay in there on his hands.
Got him 0-2. He's putting up a battle.
Most career hits against the Mariners, I believe, is Cal Ripken Jr.
Yeah. He raked inside the Kingdom.
Did he?
It's the best average of any visiting ballpark he ever played in. He hit almost 340 there. Michael Young, 2 hits fewer.
Oh, really?
Yeah, 259 to 261. Gets him swinging. So Altuve striking out for the first time this series.
Really good pitching by Tyler Olson. 3 fastballs in a row in off the plate. He chases them all, speeding him up, and then he's trying to get him off of his hands. And 76-mile-an-hour breaking ball, he swings over the top of it. Good pitching by Tyler.
2 outs for Valbuena. Valbuena has been part of this home run party for the Astros. This time a splintered bat. And out number 3. So the Astros tack on another run. We're off to the 8th in Houston. Seattle Mariners baseball on Root Sports is brought to you by Money Tree. Proud to make a donation to Mariners Care for every Mariners win. By Jack in the Box. Jack's hottest sandwich is back. Head to Jack in the Box for Jack's Blazing Chicken Sandwich. By CenturyLink, your link to what's next. And by Geico, 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Now, a beautiful night here in Houston, Texas. Mariners' first trip here on the season after a sweep in Arlington. Things have not been quite so blissful here in Houston.
Grossman will take over in right field for Springer. And Joe Thatcher on the mound. So McHugh's night is done.
Thatcher facing Cano. Oh, 0-2.
And for Colin McHugh, 7 innings, 6 hits, 4 runs, all of them earned, all home runs. A couple of walks, 3 strikeouts. He threw 106 pitches.
Watch out. Yikes. Got away from Thatcher. And Mike, looking at that line, as we see the numbers here on Thatcher, you can see opponents have got into him a little bit.
Just 4 1/3 so far. 5 strikeouts, 1 walk.
This time of the year, 1 bad outing will do that to you in terms of the numbers. Has 2 strikes against Cano and finishes them off. But when you look at those numbers from McHugh tonight, and you see 4 home runs, all solo shots, it kind of goes back to the age-old adage, you can work around solo home runs.
Solo home runs will not hurt you, is what they say. And I would say most of the time that is true.
Now getting 10 runs or 11 runs of support, that helps you out a little bit.
That helps out a bunch. Speaking of the 4 solo home runs, Nelson Cruz with 2 of them. One of them left the entire building. It's out on the street somewhere.
Rolling around.
Yeah.
Maybe in somebody's driver's seat, hopefully. Not. So we think back to the home runs we've seen Nelson Cruz hit here, which, by the way, he has hit 3 home runs in his last 4 at-bats. And we have seen one hit the train tracks. We've seen one go out of the ballpark, onto the street literally. And we've seen one basically hit off the facade in left field. And he is on an absolutely historical start, Mike. 13 home runs in the Mariners' first 24 games of the season. Tied for the most in club history with Ken Griffey Jr. on a team that you were on in 1997.
Jr. hitting 13 home runs in the first 24. So Nelson, he can stand there by himself if he wants to hit another one out right here. What a start to his Mariner career.
Two balls and 2 strikes. Cruz has never homered 3 times in one game. And he hits that off the hands, drops it in for a base hit. So not quite the length of his first 2 hits, but he's on base. And the Mariners need base runners.
Good fastball from Thatcher. It gets in on his hands. A 3-hit night for him now.
And we'll have a pinch runner.
He's raised his average to 347 now, along with all those home runs.
So Nelson done for the night. Dustin Ackley running at first base with 1 out. Oh, make it Willie Bloomquist at the plate.
At the plate. Willie's going to hit for Kyle Seager.
So Seager done after going 0 for 3 tonight. Up the middle. VR. Altuve. In time. Double play ends the top of the 8th. And the Mariners are retired in order despite a Nelson Cruz single. We go to the home half. Astros have the lead. As the Astros have the lead. David Ortiz, Hanley Ramirez, and the Boston Red Sox take on the Mariners at Safeco Field for a 4-game series beginning Thursday, May 14th. Line up your tickets now at Mariners.com. What is sure to be an entertaining series. See a number of promotions there during the Red Sox day and some changes defensively. Dustin Ackley making a cameo, and a rare one at that, in right field. Willie Bloomquist, to pinch hit for Kyle Seager, takes over on the hot corner.
And Danny Farquhar will pitch an inning.
So Grossman batting here to begin the bottom of the 8th. Springer's spot. A weak tapper. Farquhar, long toss. Out number 1. That brings in Gaddis, so a nice start by Danny Farquhar.
Gaddis 1 for 4 tonight, but he scored a couple of runs. He reached on an error, and then he hit a home run. 2-run homer for him.
Up the middle, they have the shift on. Cano, the whip toss to first. And 2 pitches and 2 outs for Danny Farquhar. Activity inside the Astros bullpen.
Looks like Harris getting loose. Saw him at Safeco Field. Really pitched well. Colby Rasmus. A couple of doubles and a home run for him tonight.
Rolls over it to Cano, and this is as efficient of an inning as there is in the game. 3 pitches, 3 outs. Danny Farquhar barely broke a sweat. We go to the 9th. Mariners have a lot of work to do. All right, thank you, Angie. So we go to the top of the 9th. Mariners down to their final 3 outs. Ricky Weeks to begin things. A walk his last time up. Facing Will Harris, the new pitcher for the Astros. Now, this game certainly breaks the mold from what we have seen this season for the Mariners. A club record 19 consecutive games decided by 3 runs or fewer entering tonight. The old mark was 13, so certainly made up for the previous mark. You see the numbers on Harris.
Has not given up an earned run in 12 innings. 14 strikeouts over the 12 innings he's pitched, and 0.53 batting average. Big reason why their bullpen numbers are down. They have really pitched well.
And in bullpen speak, numbers being down means that
the ERA
numbers are up, in other words. One and 2 to Weeks. Really, it hasn't just been the 19 straight games that have been tied for the Mariners. 22 of 23 games played this year have been decided by 3 or fewer. Even when the Mariners scored 11 runs against the Rangers, Texas scored 10. They've all been close. High the opposite way. Grossman, the new right fielder, will watch this find a fan.
You would think that Lloyd and his staff are kind of used to that, though. Last year they had played a lot of close games.
Mentally, does that get taxing as a player to play 19 straight games decided by 3 runs or fewer?
Yes, it does.
You didn't have to think about that.
No. It's taxing for everybody. Your bullpen, we've seen that this year. A lot of the at-bats, especially when you get into the latter part of the games, are more critical. Not too many laughers.
Weeks down on strikes. 2 outs remain for the Mariners. Brings in Logan Morrison. Now the Astros are on their way to a series win. Mariners will try to avoid the sweep tomorrow with J. Happ. Astros looking to win 9 in a row. The last time they won 9 in a row was September of 2006. Their current 8-game winning streak, their longest since 2008. And if they get a little closer, they'll start to approach their franchise record of 12 straight wins, which they've done twice, 1999 and 2004. Late swing. 0-2 to Logan Morrison, who homered his first time up. You talk to people here around Houston, and for the first time in a long time, there is finally some buzz around this ballpark. Astros were on the front page of the Houston Chronicle today. Lomo down on strikes. Fastball then a breaking ball. Harris back-to-back punch-out. Up to Mike Zunino now. Opposite field home run for Mike in the second. He went back-to-back with Lomo. Nelson Cruz homered to start that inning. First 2 games of this series decided by a run. Astros winning both of them. The first in a walk-off win. Their first in that fashion on the season. But this one tonight much different. Tonight's game has set a Minute Maid Park record with 9 home runs. 5 by the Astros. Accounting for 8 runs. All 4 Mariners homers were solo shots. In fact, the last 2 games combined, we have seen 12 homers. Astros, their 7th game this season with at least 3 home runs. That leads the majors. And they've done it back-to-back nights. Zunino down to his final out. Final strike, make it. Full count. The Astros win their 9th straight. First time they've done that since 2006.